Hello, dear learners. Welcome to English with Fatiha, your school channel for loving English and connecting with the world.
Welcome to the Sense of Wellbeing, the podcast that dives deep into topics impacting our mental health, emotional balance, and overall sense of well-being. I'm your host Fatiha, and today, we're addressing something that many families are feeling right now: back-to-school anxiety and stress. Whether you're a student, a parent, or even a teacher, the start of a new school year can bring a lot of pressure. Joining us today is Maya Carter, a licensed therapist specializing in child and adolescent mental health. She has helped countless families navigate the often challenging transition back into the school routine. Welcome, Maya.
Thank you so much for having me. This topic is so important, especially as more and more people are recognizing the impact school stress can have on overall mental health.
Absolutely. It's one of those things that people talk about in passing, but when it hits, it can feel overwhelming. Let's get into that. Why does the back-to-school season trigger so much anxiety for so many people?
There are multiple layers to why back-to-school season can be stressful. For students, they're facing academic pressure, social challenges, and in some cases, adjusting to new environments. If a child is going into a new school or grade, it adds uncertainty, which can trigger anxiety. Then, you have parents who are dealing with their own worries, concerns about their child's academic performance, socialization, and well-being.
So, it's not just the kids, parents are feeling this too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Parents can often feel overwhelmed as well, especially with balancing work, family life, and supporting their child. Many parents worry about whether their child is prepared to handle the year ahead. This anxiety can easily transfer to the child, even unintentionally. And then, of course, there are the teachers who are dealing with their own pressures around student outcomes, managing classroom dynamics, and more.
So it sounds like it's really a collective anxiety. Everyone involved in the school process is feeling some kind of pressure. What are some of the most common signs that someone is dealing with this back-to-school anxiety?
Back-to-school anxiety can manifest in different ways depending on the individual. For students, you might see physical symptoms like stomach aches, headaches, or trouble sleeping. It can also look like irritability, mood swings, or even avoidance behavior. Maybe the child suddenly doesn't want to go to school, or they're dragging their feet in the morning.
That sounds like classic signs of anxiety, but it could also easily be dismissed as kids just not wanting to go back to school.
Exactly. That's why it's important to pay attention to patterns. If these behaviors are persistent, it's likely more than just "I don't want to go back to school." Anxiety can also manifest as perfectionism or extreme worry about schoolwork, especially with older kids and teens. They might constantly check their work or ask for reassurance about their performance.
What about parents? Are there telltale signs that a parent might be struggling with anxiety during this period?
For parents, it can show up as overpreparation, irritability, or becoming overly controlling about school-related matters. You might notice a parent becoming hyper-focused on school supplies, homework, or even micromanaging their child's routine. Parents may also experience sleepless nights, mood swings, or even find themselves constantly worrying about how their child will cope with the year.
Wow, so it's almost like a parallel experience for both the parent and the child. When these anxieties are intertwined, how can parents ensure they're not passing that stress on to their kids?
This is where self-awareness and intentional communication come in. First, parents need to manage their own anxiety so they don't project it onto their children. When a parent feels anxious, kids pick up on it, even if it's not spoken. Simple strategies like practicing mindfulness, staying organized, and setting realistic expectations can help ease that anxiety.
It makes sense. When you're calm, your kids can feed off that energy. What are some tips for parents to keep their own stress in check during this back-to-school time?
Parents can start by setting up a routine that includes self-care. It could be as simple as taking 10 minutes for a quick breathing exercise or making sure to get enough rest. If you're feeling overwhelmed, communicate with your partner, a friend, or even a therapist. You don't have to go through it alone. Setting boundaries around how much you involve yourself in your child's academic life is also important. While it's great to be involved, micromanaging can add unnecessary stress for both of you.
I love that. What about practical steps that both parents and students can take to reduce back-to-school anxiety?
One of the best things you can do is plan ahead. Start by organizing the morning routine a few weeks before school starts, so there's time to adjust. This gives everyone a chance to ease into the new schedule. You can also do a school walkthrough with younger kids so they feel more comfortable in their new environment before the first day.
That sounds like a great idea. Walking through the routine can definitely help kids feel like they know what to expect.
Exactly. Also, don't underestimate the power of positive reinforcement. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, highlight the exciting parts of going back to school, meeting new friends, learning something new, or engaging in favorite activities. Encourage open communication so your child feels comfortable sharing their fears and concerns without judgment.
What role does organization play in easing the stress?
Organization can be a huge stress reliever. Make sure everything from school supplies to meal prep is done in advance. Create a visual calendar so both parents and kids can see what's coming up during the week. This cuts down on the last-minute scrambling that can cause stress.
That's all we have time for in this first part of our conversation on back-to-school anxiety and stress. Maya, thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights today.
Thank you for having me, Fatiha. It's been a pleasure discussing this important topic.
In the next episode, we'll dive even deeper into practical strategies to help both parents and students manage the emotional roller coaster that comes with the start of a new school year. We'll talk about how to create supportive environments at home and school, and tips to maintain mental well-being throughout the year. So, if you found this episode helpful, be sure to tune in for part 2. And remember, taking small steps to manage anxiety can make a big difference. Until next time, take care and stay well.